Change percolates from the bottom up.
In this town hall meeting tonight, we will explore one path to peace and justice, that of the local government resolution. The resolution that is being proposed for the Montgomery County Council is in response to our military involvement in the Middle East.
We fail to recognize the serious consequences of the war. We will talk tonight clearly about the economic impact, and we see those here locally. But what you don't see oftentimes are the other side of the war, the side of destruction, the side of death.
So the cost of the war is abstract. The greatest costs are really the things that might have been but never were. Careers that you could have pursued, loves that you could have pursued, talents that you could have developed, friendships that you could have nourished, kind words you could have said.
The immediate price tag is at least $1 trillion. Realistically, that cost is easily 3 times that much. All to be paid for by you and me, the taxpayers. Not just you and me, even worse, by our children.
People in college now are going to have to deal not only with their student loans, but also with their Iraq war loans.
How can we justify a war effort that prevents the adequate funding of U.S. services and our whole education system, our housing opportunities?
Monarchs engage in wars for reasons that have nothing to do with the interests of their subjects. In contrast, democratic societies are more peaceful, at least in part because the public, which bears most of the costs, will be cautious about engaging in war.
The costs of this war are real. There are not an infinite number of dollars. We do not have enough money to fund this war forever and do the things we need to do in this country.
Americans haven't even been asked to lend money to the government for this purpose. Instead, places like China have lent this money. That's why our taxes haven't gone up to pay for the war, yet. To pay back, you have to produce more, then you have to consume less.
So the question becomes,
which social services would be cut and which people with no voice would be the next people to lose the things that they depend on.
Every month, when you count veterans' costs and things like that, is at least $15 billion more that's burned. $15 billion more down the hole that we, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will have to take care of.
The state deficit had now reached a yawning $429 million.
So the citizens of Montgomery County have already lost a lot and will lose a lot more if this war doesn't get over quickly.
what I want to know is, what are we going to do about it?
The only possible response is a planned and gradual withdrawal out of the Iraq of our U.S. forces.
We, the people, have a constitutional right to be part of the government by which we are governed. The 10th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States says, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people." We, the people.
People really do make a difference, and it's communities that really can bring about change.
When the war gets over, we're going to start paying for it.
So how is all of this connected to county government?
The government of Montgomery County has broadly construed police powers to protect its citizens from harm and a fiduciary responsibility to exercise those powers. That's what we're talking about in this resolution, protecting the citizens of Montgomery County from the continuation of the drastic harm that has befallen this county because of the Iraq War.
So now is the time for all of us to speak out in opposition of this war, because it has a direct correlation to the woes that we're facing in county government with our budget.
The reality is that we will take a certain amount of heat
from constituents across the county who are not pleased with our approach to the sponsoring of this anti-war resolution.
I think that the challenge for council members, and it comes up on bills like this, is that people see this as outside the purview of the county council.
We want our county councils, our local governments, to be responsible and to reflect our views and to not say, this isn't in our purview. It is in the purview of local governments to speak out on issues of national and international policy. It is not only our constitutional right, but I believe a constitutional responsibility.
We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision, but we must speak. We still have a choice today: nonviolent coexistence or violent co-annihilation. We must move past indecision to action. We must find new ways to speak for peace.
In the last few weeks, my office has gotten numerous calls from people who are homeless and who have served this country. You know, women vets, many of them have PTSD, many of them have kids, they have unique mental health needs. And the reality is we're not prepared for that as a community, and it's not because we don't have the political will to respond to the challenges, to the needs. It's because we don't have the money, the funding, and that's directly related to the fact that money has been devoted simply to a war effort and not to the needs of the everyday citizens like you and even like me.
I recently established in Montgomery County a Veterans Commission locally, first time, for us to look at the challenges and difficulties that our veterans face each and every day. So that we need to make certain that we distinguish the honorable service of our veterans and the contributions and the sacrifices that they've made from the decisions and the leadership that led us to the position that we're in today.
That's going to cost money. These are costs that are going to stretch out over the next 50 years.
So there is a conversation to be had on the local level. It's overdue.
This is being brave. This is being innovative. This is listening to your constituents. This is acknowledging that a local government, a county council, a state legislature is, for most of us, not only the most direct form of civic participation that we have the opportunity to partake in, but the only place that actually we can directly communicate our thoughts, our feelings, have this kind of forum.
We're trying to reverse that sense of government at the top. Government really has to be government from the bottom. That's one of our privileges in this country.
Political change happens one conversation at a time and one community at a time.
And right now, we cannot get an agreement at this point to have this resolution heard.
So what I would encourage you to do is just to help buck up the other council members and say, if your heart's there, put your vote there.
You know, the whole idea that we are devoting countless dollars to a ridiculous war effort to the detriment of the communities that we serve, there's no justification.
With a limited amount of money and a limited amount of resources, we have to establish priorities. The money belongs back in this country, our soldiers belong back in this country.
Our military efforts should be focused on the security of this nation.
This is truly is a constitutional issue, and if we can prevent sending the Maryland Guard to Iraq.
The important point going forward is not that we've wasted a ton of money. The important point is that if we don't stop the war very soon, we're going to waste another ton of money and another ton after that.
We have taken a stand against this war, and it is not very popular for us to be doing that. But here I am tonight because I am proud of all of us as citizens of this country here in our right to say no more war. Enough is enough.
16 months is too long, 10 years is too long, one life is too many, $1 is too much. I encourage you to lobby us, push us, get us to do the right thing. This has to end, and it has to end now.